You've probably heard the term digital transformation thrown around a lot, but it's so much more than just a corporate buzzword. It's a fundamental, ground-up reinvention of how businesses operate, compete, and honestly, how they even think in today's world.
So how does this whole thing actually work? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll start with a super clear definition. Then we'll dive into how it really reinvents a company from the inside out, from its core operations to how you, the customer, experience it. We'll also look at the data that fuels this whole process, and finally touch on why this transformation never, ever really ends.
Okay, let's jump right in. First things first, what exactly are we talking about when we say digital transformation? At its heart, this is a massive strategic shift. It's not just about, buying some new software or launching an app. It's about rethinking everything, from the way a product is made to the way it gets into a customer's hands, and putting digital tools right at the very center of that new vision.
And this change isn't just happening out of thin air. It's built on a foundation of really powerful technologies, things like cloud computing, mobile devices, social platforms that have become completely woven into how we work every single day. These aren't just extra tools. They're the actual engines driving this whole thing forward.
So, what does this look like in the real world? Let's start on the inside by looking at how companies are totally tearing down and rebuilding their internal operations, the very engine room of their business.
A huge piece of this reinvention is all thanks to the cloud. And look, if you've ever used Gmail or saved a file in Dropbox, you've used cloud computing. It's basically about getting access to incredibly powerful IT services over the internet whenever you need them, without having to own a single piece of hardware yourself.
And this creates a really dramatic contrast. Businesses used to spend millions on buying and maintaining these giant on-site server rooms. It was a huge capital expense. Now, they can just rent that same computing power from providers like Amazon Web Services, and they can scale it up or down instantly. It's a profound switch from ownership to access, and it completely changes a company's agility and its finances.
So when you hear people talk about the cloud, this is what it actually is. It's not some abstract idea. It's a real, physical network of enormous data centers just like this one, packed with thousands and thousands of servers. This physical hardware is what gives businesses all that incredible on-demand power and flexibility.
So, how does this change a basic business process? Well, let's take something as simple as getting a customer's order out the door. What used to be a bunch of manual, disconnected steps is now this highly automated, data-driven flow, all powered by integrated systems that are running on the cloud. It means efficiency and accuracy on a level that just wasn't possible before.
Okay, so once a company has streamlined its internal engine, what's next? Well, the next step is to completely redefine its connection to the outside world. How does all this tech change the way businesses fight for customers?
The reality is, the digital world is a really, really crowded and noisy place. Every single company out there is competing for a very limited amount of your attention. So it's not enough to just be online anymore. You have to be way smarter about how you find and connect with people. You have to stand out.
Here's a perfect example of that. Nike Golf wanted to reach more golfers online. Instead of just hoping people would stumble upon their website, they got strategic. They used search engine optimization, SEO, to figure out what words and phrases golfers were actually searching for. By tailoring their site to those searches, they saw a staggering 250% jump in traffic from people who weren't even looking for the Nike brand specifically. That's huge.
And once you get people to your site, you got to keep them there by making their experience personal. This is where recommendation engines come in. You see this stuff every single day on Netflix or Amazon. It's really smart software that looks at what you've watched or bought in the past to predict what you might like next. It creates a unique experience that's built just for you.
But does this really work? Oh, absolutely. The online retailer Wine.com put in a recommendation engine and found that sales that came from those personalized suggestions had a 52% higher conversion rate. That is a massive direct impact on their bottom line.
But this isn't just about online shopping. Where things get really cool is when these digital tools start blending with the physical retail experience. It's called an omni-channel strategy, and the whole goal is to create one single seamless journey for the customer, whether they're on their phone at home or walking around in the store.
Macy's is a great example of this in action. They actually want shoppers to use their phones while they're in the store. Through programs like their Backstage Pass, a customer can just scan a QR code on a product tag and instantly pull up more info, watch a video about it, or see customer reviews, all right there in the aisle, seamlessly merging those digital and physical worlds.
So now we get to what is maybe the most critical piece of this whole puzzle, the fuel that powers all these changes we've been talking about, data. And we are not just talking about your average spreadsheets here. We're talking about big data. These are massive, incredibly complex data sets that are flowing in from everywhere. Social media, sensors, every online transaction. It is so much information, coming in so fast that your traditional software just can't keep up.
So how do you make any sense of all that raw information? Well, a really key process is something called ETL. First, you extract the data from all those different sources. Then you transform it, which means cleaning it up and getting it into a standard format. And finally, you load it into a central data warehouse where it's all neat and ready to be analyzed. This is basically how you turn messy, raw data into a super valuable asset.
And the payoff for doing this? It can be absolutely huge. By doing this and then visualizing its supply chain data, the supermarket chain Safeway was able to unlock these incredible insights. They could see exactly how a weather forecast was going to impact sales, figure out which promotions actually worked, and even track the movement of every single item in every single store, every single day. That is the kind of power you get when you turn data into knowledge.
Okay, so finally, it's really important to understand that this isn't some project with a start and a finish line. Digital transformation is a continuous, ongoing journey, and it comes with a whole new set of challenges and, frankly, responsibilities.
As companies get more digital, they also become more vulnerable. They're facing constant cybersecurity threats, things like phishing scams, malware, major data breaches. They also have to navigate this really complex web of data privacy rules and regulations. And on top of all that, they're trying to manage these massive IT projects that, historically, have a pretty high rate of failure.
And this all brings us to the ethical side of things. There's this famous, kind of unsettling story about the retailer Target that is a powerful illustration of where this can go. Their data analytics got so good that they correctly predicted a teenage customer's pregnancy and started mailing her coupons for baby stuff before she'd even told her own family.
And that really leaves us with the critical question we all have to think about. As our ability to collect, analyze, and predict things based on data just grows and grows, it forces us to ask, what are our new responsibilities here? How do we find the right balance between innovation and privacy, between powerful insights and our own ethical boundaries? That's the ongoing challenge at the very heart of this never-ending transformation.